Now that you have an understanding of some of the important terminology involved in copywriting and how you can make the most of those elements, here are some more tips to help you craft great copy. Speak to your audience. Since the sales copy you write is to promote one of your own products, it's easy to make the mistake of talking about yourself and your own copy too much. The problem is, your potential customer doesn't really care about you. They care about themselves. They want solutions to their problems, and they want to know what you can do for them. You need to focus on your customer first. A lot of sales copy is too focused on the business who is doing the selling. We sell this. We're great at this. We believe in customer satisfaction. It's simple enough to change the wording around to focus more on you and how you can help your potential customer. Turn it around and write things like this instead. Are you looking for? If you need reliable, your satisfaction is guaranteed. Exercise. Go through your copy and change many of the we's to you's and rewrite your copy based on the change in focus. When you're done, you'll see how much more of a connection you can make with your reader. In most cases, you'll be saying essentially the same thing. For example, saying, "We believe in customer satisfaction," is pretty much saying the same thing as, "Your satisfaction is guaranteed," but the focus is on your potential customer. Avoid excessive adjectives. Can you see what's wrong with the following copywriting example? The biggest and best ebook that will make you the happiest person on your blog. Here's the problem. Outside of the fact that it's pretty over the top with its claims, that sentence above is pretty meaningless. Nobody really cares if an ebook is the biggest, and this sentence doesn't really say anything about why it's the best. Also, the word happiest is kind of meaningless. We all want to be happy, but if we are unhappy right now, we have specific problems we need to have solved. Telling someone that they're going to be happy doesn't answer much for them. They want to know how you're going to make them happy and how you'll make their specific problems go away. The real problem with the previous sentence is that it is filled with adjectives that don't give specifics. Adjectives describe nouns, and they don't provide readers with good information. Make sure you answer these questions in your copy. How are you the best? What makes you great? How do you care for your customer? That's what people want to know. If you use too many adjectives, it ends up sounding like too much hype, and the meaningfulness is lost. That doesn't mean that you can't use adjectives in your copy. Of course, you're still going to use them, but your copy should be able to stand on its own without all the extra words. Exercise. If you want to see if your copy can stand up on its own, pick a couple of paragraphs from your website or your entire page and remove all the adjectives. Does it still sound compelling? Is it selling your product? If not, it's probably time to start working on being specific, and we'll talk about that next. Be specific. I talked about this briefly when we wrote about headlines. Let's get more into this and really understand how being specific can help you sell more of your product. Instead of saying you are the best, say why you are the best. Instead of saying you're fast, explain how fast and in what specific ways. Let's say if you're a printing service and you provide fast printing, tell them on average how much time you need to finish a project. If you aren't willing to say how quickly you can complete a project, then you're probably not that quick and shouldn't be using that angle. When we're talking about copy, we're giving people as much detailed information as possible so people can make an informed decision about the product, newsletter, or whatever our call to action is. Have you ever been to a website and thought about buying a product, but you weren't 100% sure it had the features and benefits that you needed? It happens all the time. A lot of product sellers think they can slap up a picture and add a few words and watch the sales roll in. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. You simply can't give too much information about your product. Yes, you can be too wordy and put your reader to sleep. But if you're giving people information that they need to make a buying decision, there is no such thing as too much information. You want them to have all of their questions answered and get them to buy. Another good way to be specific is to quantify things. If you have an ebook that has 37 ways to reduce your cholesterol, tell them that there are 37 ways. Don't say that there are plenty of ways, or this ebook is packed with ideas to help you lower your cholesterol. A specific number like 37, as opposed to a round number like 30, also tends to generate a better response. It is not completely clear why this occurs, but it's likely because round numbers might seem made up or estimated, but when you say 37, it puts a specific picture in their mind. Exercise. Look at things you've written for your business. Where can you be more specific? What can you quantify? Don't worry so much about grammar. As you continue with your business, there will be people that tell you that proper grammar is very important to maintain a professional image. Some of your website visitors may even take the time to email you and tell you about the spelling and grammar mistakes that completely outraged them. Don't let this worry you too much. Correct the spelling, and if the grammar is outrageous, just fix it. But keep listening to find out why grammar isn't as important as it's cracked up to be. The most important thing about your sales copy or articles is to sound natural and to relate to your target audience appropriately. Write the way that you speak. Naturally, if your audience is PhD students studying literature, then you might want to have a more formal tone and pay more attention to more grammar rules. If your audience is race car enthusiasts or those interested in fashion trends, you might be more relaxed in your writing and speak more casually. Most markets are going to be more casual, so you want to create a friendly and real image with your copy. It's okay to sometimes start sentences with and but, now, and then, because it's how we speak, and when you write how you speak, it is how you relate to your audience. It's okay to end a sentence with a preposition because, again, that's how we speak. Exercise. Look at your copy and see how formal or informal you are. Can you see how you could make it sound more friendly, appealing, and create a connection with your reader? If you're too formal, you just might lose your audience altogether. You don't want to sound uneducated, but you want to be natural. Most of your grammar is going to be correct, but there are some rules you don't necessarily have to worry about for the sake of readability. Final note. If you're going to have someone proofread your copy, whether it's a friend, virtual assistant, or professional proofreader, make sure that they understand what you're looking for, that your spelling is correct, the language flows well, and that the copy sounds intelligent but friendly. Keep it simple. Write in short sentences that make things easy to read. Break up long paragraphs to ease eye strain. Again, it's okay to break grammar rules, especially with the paragraph formatting, because reading long paragraphs can be fatiguing. This is particularly true online and where people are reading on a screen. Don't tire your potential customer out before they read about your product. You can also use bullet points, as we mentioned earlier, and these may include incomplete sentences. Luckily, that is actually acceptable in grammar rules. The key is to make it easy to read. Don't use complicated language, and make a level appropriate for your target audience. The average reading level of the general public is quite low. If you feel a more advanced word is more appropriate, always define the word, in case your readers don't know what it means. Keep layouts simple. It's easy to get excited about your product, and when crafting your web design, it can be tempting to include many things. Add photos to accentuate the copy, but don't allow them to take over. Pictures are important in creating visuals, but it's your words that will make your copy sell. On the internet, keeping it simple is especially important. Web surfers only give you a few seconds before they decide to click away and never come back to your website again. If you don't grab attention or you confuse them with a busy website, they're more likely to make the decision to leave. Here are some important tips for your website layouts. Keep your website navigation to a minimum. Create subcategories to your website sections if necessary to minimize menu distraction. If you are selling your own product on a particular page, it's usually best to remove all banners or graphics going to outside pages. Keep your page header or logo simple and small. Don't let it take over the whole above the fold space on your website. Above the fold simply means the space on your web page a visitor can see without scrolling down with his or her mouse. A logo or page header can help with branding and can convey a more professional image, but it doesn't have to be huge to do that. Most of the above the fold space should be reserved for selling your product. Exercise. Review your web pages and promotional copy and try to view it from the eyes of someone who is unfamiliar with you, your company, or your product. Are you immediately able to receive the intended marketing message, or are there other distractions on the page? Try to clean up things and then ask others for honest feedback. A note about sales letters. If you've been online for any amount of time, you've probably seen web pages called sales letters. They're long scrolling pages with a headline, information about the product, and a call to action. These types of pages are very effective when selling one product at a time. The reasons they are effective are because they have no distractions. There's no navigation except maybe on the bottom, flashing banners, or anything to keep attention away from the product. Everything is in one place. The reader doesn't have to click around, trying to find information that they need. It includes everything your visitor needs to know to make a decision about buying your product. A note about opt-in pages. In addition to sales letters selling individual products, you've probably come across what is called an opt-in page. It is similar to a sales letter in that there are no distractions or navigation, but the purpose of this page is to get them to sign up for a mailing list or opt in for more information on a product, etc. These are highly effective in building your mailing list and can have extremely high conversion rates. They're perfect for promoting on your business card, in a forum or email signature, or anywhere you want to draw people in with your free information to sell to them later. Be succinct and edit. Earlier, we told you how important it is to provide as much information about your product so that your customer can make an informed buying decision. We're going to go ahead and stand by that, but we want you to also be succinct, using only as many words as necessary in your copy as possible. There's a difference between summarizing your offer and just repeating yourself over and over again. Although it's true that detail is really what sells your product, you want to make sure your copy is succinct and receives proper editing attention. Exercise. Go through your copy and make sure that you're not being repetitive or adding extra information your potential customer doesn't need. If you start out with really long copy, go over it and over it again until you fine-tuned it into a well-oiled selling machine. It's not the length that can be the problem, but the message you are sending with your copy. A sense of urgency. Get them to buy now. Even if people may be excited about your product after reading about it, they may just decide that they'll buy it later. Problem is, most times when they decide to buy later, they never get around to it. They'll lose your brochure, throw out the newspaper with your ad, or forget where your website is. To prevent this, you need to create a sense of urgency. In other words, make them feel like they need to buy right now. Here are some of the ways that you can do that. Offer a limited time discount. Limit the distribution of your product. Offer them bonuses or goodies with your product, but only for a limited time. Show them how serious their particular problem is and why they should find a solution now. Whatever you can do to make them purchase now, the more likely it is that you'll make the sale. Exercise. Go through your promotional material and make sure you've added a sense of urgency to everything. Whether it's to encourage them to find a solution to the problem right now or to offer a time-limited discount, you can always add a little sense of urgency. Close the deal. Call to action. Never forget to ask for the sale, or if you want people to call you for more information, fill out a form or sign up for a mailing list. Tell them exactly what it is that you want them to do. We defined a call to action in a previous section, but it's definitely worth mentioning again. Your call to action can include a summary of your offer, your price and why the price provides good value, specific instructions on how to complete the call to action. In the previous 2 chapters, I provided you with the foundation of what it takes to write effective sales copy. If you already have an established business, you have plenty of opportunities to go back and improve your sales messages. If you're just getting started, you're already ahead of much of your competition. Most website owners don't really understand copywriting and rely on more person-to-person selling and follow-up. With the skills you're learning now, you'll have your website doing most of the selling for you. Putting it all together. Copywriting helps you clinch the sale when you're not there to do it. When people visit your website, you aren't there to personally greet them. When someone looks at your business card a few weeks after they meet you, how will they remember you? Use the Copywriting Basics to guide you in crafting all of your marketing messages. The words on your page, on your business card, or in your advertising copy say a lot about you and your business. Make sure you're sending the right message. If you haven't already, go through all of the exercises in this guide and see the differences they can make in your business. Knowledge is power, but without action, it's almost useless.